Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden. It's a fun day today because I have plant mail today. I love getting plant mail. It is my favorite type of mail. Why would it not be? But this is really special because this box is actually coming from my good friend Claudia. She has a YouTube channel that I'm sure probably most of you follow called In the Garden with Claudia, and she is a wonderful gardener, I actually did a garden tour of her garden last season, so head over and check that video out. It was such a good video. She's really good with trees, but then also she's really, really good with dahlias. She is a dahlia obsessed enthusiast. She lives up in Oregon in the Portland area, which I think is like a dahlia haven. There are so many growers, dahlia growers up there, and she actually took me to a farm where there was just acres and acres of beautiful dahlias growing. And to hear her talk about it, it's like you can see the joy in her eyes when she talks about dahlias. So I asked her to help me with dahlias because I like dahlias, but I don't have that passion for dahlias that she has. And she told me that it's probably because I haven't tried the right kind of dahlias, which I think she's right, because I kind of felt the same way about ranunculus. Like ranunculus were fine, but when I actually put the time and effort into research them and get some really good varieties, oh my goodness, now they're absolutely, I get it. I get what all the fuss is. So she offered to send me a whole bunch of her favorite dahlias that she's been wanting me to try. And I said, yes, please. And so I finally got them in the mail and I am planning to plant them out today. Now, normally I plant dahlias in my cut flower garden so that I can cut on them. This time actually though, since these are really special dahlia tubers, I actually want to plant them in my front garden because I'm really lucky in that I live in a really mild climate. I live in zone 9B and we don't have to pull our dahlias every year. We can leave them in the ground and let them just keep growing until it gets to the point that we have to divide the tubers. So my plan for these is I actually want to put these in my front garden. I think I want to put them in my long border and incorporate them into part of my garden design. I actually went on a garden tour a couple years ago. I didn't film it. I wish I filmed it because this was one of the most beautiful gardens I've ever been to. And the gardener there, she would actually plant dahlias throughout her garden, and she would put a trio of bamboo stakes around the dahlia so that as the dahlia grew up, the stakes could support the dahlia, but it was also a really beautiful marker to show where her dahlias were so that she didn't plant anything else around it. So that's kind of what I want to do today with Claudia's dahlias. I've been texting back and forth with her, and she's told me a little bit about these dahlias, which are really exciting, and I want to share them with you all today before I start planting them. So she sent me a very cute note. Thank you, Claudia. And then she packed them so nicely. And how she packed them is she packed them in a Ziploc baggie with what looks like vermiculite, which is going to keep enough moisture, but not too much moisture in the dahlia tubers. I just got these in the mail last night. So they're fresh, they're ready to go. I know she just packed them up. For dahlias, the one thing that you have to think of is the timing for when you plant them. Dahlia tubers, they don't like cold and wet soil. If you plant dahlia tubers too early in the season and your soil temperature is too cold, you're putting that dahlia at risk for rotting and not sprouting and getting a disease or something like that. So you do need to wait for your dahlias. It's probably one of the last things you should think about planting. I always think around April, mid-April is when you can start planting your dahlias. And then dahlias usually, depending on the variety, they take about 3 months to bloom. And so whenever you plant them, they're a late season bloomer usually. And so whenever you plant them, as long as you have, about 90 to 100 days left in your growing season, you're good. So you don't really have to worry about planting them too late. So let me go over the varieties right now. I have a list of them. The first one is called Giggles. And Giggles was really pretty. So it says it's a 3.5-inch bloom of coral orange with a collar of soft lavender pink, which is very interesting. Claudia called these a collarette dahlia, which I'm assuming has the extra set of petals, which I think is just absolutely beautiful. And she said that she thought I would like Giggles, and I definitely do like Giggles. It's a beautiful one, and I'm excited to have a dahlia named Giggles in my garden. The next one that she sent me was called Chewy, and this one is described to have 3-inch blooms that are bronzy peach color with a slight lavender dusting. How can you have a slight lavender dusting? But I love them. I love that. It says it gives them an iridescent appearance. They are early bloomers and change color as the season progresses, becoming more salmon colored. So that should be fun. Then she did send me one that I've heard from so many people is amazing, and I've actually never grown it, and it's called Cafe au Lait. Cafe au Lait is a big, beautiful dinner plate dahlia that has been all the rage, I feel like, for the past 10 years. How do they describe it? This place says the undisputed queen of dahlias, highly desired by designers and flower lovers alike for the timeless beauty of its creamy blush hue. I think that perfectly describes Cafe au Lait. I don't know why I've never grown Cafe au Lait. I think it's because it's always out of stock. Every time I try and buy it, it's always out of stock. And so I always just pick other ones. So I'm glad that Claudia sent me this one. And I also love that these are from Claudia's garden. These dahlias are from someone who has cared for them and has absolutely loved them. And it's my favorite thing. I've told you guys this a million times before, but one of my goals is to have a garden full of plants that have a story to it. Whether like, oh, I got that on an outing with my family, or, oh, this was sent to me by my friend. This was a cutting that I got here. Just to have these dahlias that are from Claudia's garden, I just think is so lovely and such a lovely thought. So it's fun to have a Cafe au Lait dahlia from Claudia. All right, then we have Labyrinth, which I've actually grown before. Labyrinth is a dinner plate dahlia that's described as different shades of pink and peach, making this watercolor-like dahlia a welcome addition to any garden, which is just beautiful. I know I have grown this one before because the pictures just look absolutely beautiful. So I'm excited to have this one again. Then we have one that I've never heard of before, but I'm really excited because it's a beautiful color. It's called Bloomquist York Dahlia, and it's called an informal decorative dahlia with truly unique rusty red ombre petals. York has such an incredibly rich color with a deep chocolate center that makes it look hand painted. They say it's very vigorous and it's part of a legacy collection and averages about 60 inches tall when pinched. Holy cow. It's from hybridizer Paul Bloomquist in Linden, Washington. So this I'm really excited to try this one because it's just beautiful. Then the next one is called Orange Globe Dahlia. And this is described as a rare bronze dahlia. They say it always sells out to designers every week before they can take them to market. Gorgeous dusty rose color with bronze undertone, which is really fun. And this bronzy color just reminds me of Claudia. Bronze apricots and creamy colors are kind of what I think of when I think of Claudia. She loves those colors. Speaking of, next one is called Terracotta, and Terracotta is a cactus dahlia. So it's a semi-cactus dahlia with 4 to 5 inch blooms. Wow, boasts strong stems and is our most vigorous grower. Although we cut almost every stem, it reaches 6 feet quickly and stays full of amazing blooms all season long. Dahlia is a glorious terracotta color and one we can't imagine farming without. Oh, I'm so excited to get these growing. Okay, then Bracken Sarah. It is a golden peach gem, one of the most beautiful varieties Floret grows, and is a show-stopping addition to the garden. 6 to 8 inch blooms sit atop tall, strong stems and look amazing in flower arrangements. How fun. Then we have 20th Avenue Softer Peach Dahlia. This one is bred by Rich Gibson from 20th Avenue Dahlias. Gorgeous ball in warm shades of peach with just a touch of light color. An extremely productive variety that pumps out blooms all season long. If you love peach, then this variety should be at the top of your list. And then finally, the last one that Claudia sent me is called Amber Queen Dahlia, which is gorgeous. So they're they're tiny pom-poms. They're 2-inch bronze blossoms on a 4-foot plant, very early and prolific bloomer. It gives you a lot of cut flowers. So I think this is going to be so much fun to get Claudia's dahlias in the ground. Let me show you what I have for supplies for getting these planted today. Okay, so here's everything I'm using for my supplies today. I have my dahlias, of course, and then I did get my big auger out because I want to do a somewhat shallow hole, but nice and wide, so there's plenty of room to lay the tubers on its side. You want to plant dahlias with the tubers on its side, not straight up, so I'm going to need pretty wide holes. And then you can see I've got every single bamboo stake I have. I always save these when I get a plant that comes with bamboo stakes. I always save them. I do have these green ones right here that have been dyed green. I don't really like these, but I do want to just use them. So I'll be using these, and then like I said, I'm just doing like a trio, 3 of them around each dahlia tuber, and then I'm going to use a little plant tag. Where did my plant tags go? There they are. I have little plant tags right here so that I can label each one. And then I'm using, of course, my garden marker. If you guys don't have a garden marker, run out and get one right now because it makes such a difference. Don't use a Sharpie. This makes such a difference. And it will actually stay all season long. Then I've got my giant bag of Biotone starter fertilizer to use in the planting holes. Claudia actually recommends planting with Biotone starter fertilizer, so I'm definitely going to use that. And then I have this to put in the bamboo stakes, and then finally my kneeling pad. So I think I'm good. I am planning to plant over here. Oh, I do want to show my tree, my Korean maple. Jason and I tried to put it here in this spot to see if it can handle a little bit of the sun, and you can see it is crispy. It is not okay. So unfortunately, this one, it needs to be in a little bit more shade. So I'm thinking about putting it over there, right in that spot right there. I think that might be a good spot for it, or maybe back by the chicken coop. That might be a good spot for it too, but it definitely needs to move very, very quickly. I have been working on the long border. I've been putting annuals and stuff in it. It looks really good. The Supertunia Vista bubblegums are starting to bloom. Why do I have all these mushrooms here? That's kind of funny. It's, you know what? It's because we've been watering these, and so all the mulch is getting extra moisture, so I'm getting mushrooms now. So mushrooms will grow on the decomposing wood chips that I put on top of my compost, so it's nothing to be worried about. When you see mushrooms on wood chips, that's a good thing, or on your soil, that's a good thing. When you see mushrooms on the stem of a plant, like a tree, that's a bad thing. So that's just a quick, easy thing to think about. Then I have Verbena bonariensis growing back here. That looks really good. I have some Tiara Blue Supertunia that's growing, looking good. And so what I'm planning to do is I'm just planning to kind of intersperse the dahlias in between, like just, you know, maybe put one right there, maybe one right there, like kind of just put them all over in this area, just to kind of fill in with different blooms and different heights. I mean, if some of these dahlias are going to get up to 6 feet tall, that's amazing, or maybe 5 feet tall is what it said. That's amazing, and it's going to bring some really beautiful height to this area. So, you know, having a dahlia like right here would be gorgeous, right in front of the candy corn spirea, and then it can be surrounded by the Supertunia Vista bubblegum. I think that'll be beautiful. You can see that it's all kind of ripped up back here because Jason's been doing drip irrigation for all the plants that I planted, and he had to find the main lines to tap into, which are back here. So anyway, I am just going to get started putting these dahlias all along the long border. I think it will be a perfect addition to what I'm going for in this long border, which is very similar to Great Dixter's long border, which is a perennial border. It has different heights, it has different textures, it has different colors. I just want this to be just kind of just like a riot of color and a riot of form and a riot of foliage. I can imagine, I know what I want it to look like, and seeing like this kind of growing up, it's like, okay, we're getting there. We're getting to what I want to do. My tulip poplar tree is still looking absolutely horrible. I don't know if that's going to bounce back. We didn't have it on drip, and it hadn't gotten water all season long except for rain. So I'm not sure if that's going to bounce back. Everybody cross your fingers. Oh my gosh, I just noticed. I'm sorry, my chiclet orange Tacoma is blooming. Oh, that's so exciting. Every day I come out here, something else is blooming. Look at that. Isn't that the most beautiful plant? Oh my gosh, I love this plant so much. So this plant is actually one of the shrubs in my Best for the West list. This is called Chiclet Orange Tacoma or Esperanza. It is so beautiful. It starts blooming kind of later. Let's see, we're mid-May right now. It's starting to bloom, and it will bloom all season until like November. It did for me last year. It's very similar to an orange trumpet vine, but an orange trumpet vine will completely take over, where this guy will stay about 6 feet tall and 4 feet wide. It is beautiful, 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 beautiful. I got to do my May garden tour soon because everything is looking so good. Okay, so I'm about halfway done planting my dahlia tubers. You can see I've got 2 over here. This one is the Cafe au Lait that Claudia sent to me. She did tell me that that one was the very last one to bloom, so don't get worried if it takes a while to bloom. So I'm going to be patient with that one. That one looks great. This one is Giggles. This one is a little bit of a shorter one. It only gets to about 3.5 feet tall. So I thought that one would be really pretty for front of the border. And then I planted these 3 over here, and I think you can see the problem that I'm running up against, and that is with my bamboo stakes. The ones that were dyed green are very, very flimsy, way too flimsy. And so if you see down here, this is my, this is Labyrinth, and you can see you really want to put your stakes in before you cover the tuber up, because you want to make sure that you don't pound your stake into the tuber, because if you nick the tuber, then it's going to rot and it's not going to bloom. And so I really want to get these stakes in before I cover up all of these tubers. Now these guys are fine, they're thick enough, but the Bloomquist York and the, what is this one, Chewy, they can't even stand up straight because I can't get them deep enough into the ground. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to head to the garden center or the hardware store and get myself some more of these thicker bamboo canes, and then I can continue planting the rest of the dahlias I have. So I will be back in just a moment. Ugh, they only have the green ones. And they're thin too. Oh, I am just striking out. Oh. Oh my goodness. That is the third store I've been to. At least they had the stakes. They had the bamboo stakes there, but they were just as thin as the ones that I have at home. So that doesn't make any sense. At least they weren't green. It must just be that time of year where they're all sold out. So I have one more place I'm gonna try. And if it's not there, then I think I'm gonna give up. I'm gonna have to order them online or something. But I got one more place. Okay, this is the last place I'm going to today. My goodness. What did we do before the internet and having things delivered to us? I'm sure we're all spoiled now, but 4 places. Nothing. Why can I not find them anywhere? Well, we've got some big bamboo stakes here, but that might be a little overkill. They're all sold out, is what it is. Wow, I struck out 4 times. I struck out 4 times today. 4 different stores, and it did not have what I needed. Man, what a bummer. But that's okay. That's okay. It's so funny because, like, I was thinking as I was driving around, it took me over an hour and a half to drive around everywhere to all those stores. But I was thinking about, funny enough, my mom, when I was little, she used to ask us what we wanted to be for Halloween to dress up as, and we would tell her, and if she couldn't find it at the stores, then she would end up making it herself. She would sew our Halloween costumes ourselves. I remember one year I was Jasmine from the Disney movie Aladdin, and it was the most beautiful costume that my mom sewed for me herself. It was so gorgeous. And so I grew up thinking I was going to sew my kids' Halloween costumes. However, nowadays, it's so easy to just go online, and it's actually cheaper just to buy a Halloween costume online. And so I have yet to make my kids their own Halloween costumes because it's just so much easier for me to get it online. My point for saying this is times have changed. We can get whatever we want online, yet going around to a local store, it's really, really hard to find things. So I really had my heart set on the wood bamboo stakes, and I wanted the thicker ones because I loved the look. They had the wood stakes and they had the green tomato stakes at the stores, but I just really love that look. It looks so cottage garden-y to have the trio of the wood bamboo stakes, and so I really wanted to do that, and especially because these dahlias are going to be in these spots for quite a number of years, so I want to make sure that I have something that I really, really like. And as with dahlias or any other bulbs or tubers you put in the ground, you want to make sure that you put the stake in as soon as you plant it so you don't poke that tuber. So I'm just going to kind of step back. I already went online and looked around, and I found some thicker bamboo stakes that I can order online and have sent to me by this weekend. And so that's what I'm going to do. And so I'll just put a pin in this project and finish it up later on this week. So a huge thank you to Claudia for sending out these lovely dahlias. I've got 5 of the 10 planted. I need to plant 5 more, but I just really want to wait for those stakes so I don't actually or accidentally poke the tubers and ruin these really special tubers. So before I let you all go, I did want to answer another gardening question that you all have left me in my comment section. I've talked to a lot of you. I had an event last weekend, and so many of you told me how much you enjoy me answering some garden questions. And so I would love to keep doing it. So if you guys have gardening questions, put them in the comment section and I will try and answer them at the end of videos. This question was from the video that I did last week. I was still planting in my long border, and I was just planting a whole bunch of more annuals. I planted some vibrant Virtuoso Dahlias. I planted some more Supertunia Vista Bubblegum, some Supertunia Mini Vista Yellow, some Artist Blue Floss Flower, some Unplugged White, just a whole bunch of annuals. And Esli, ESLI 44 asked, great video, Janie. I have one question. I'm planning to put compost on a new garden bed and then put wood chips on top, like you mentioned. If I want to add more compost the following season, should I remove the wood chips before adding compost, or do I add that compost on top? And I think that that's a really good question. I get that question a lot, so I thought it was great to answer. So what he or she is talking about is the no-till method, where you put about 6 inches of compost right on top of your native soil. You don't till it in, and then you top that off with wood chips. And to answer your question, if you're using arborist wood chips, basically natural wood chips that is a branch or a tree and it's just been put in a wood chipper and it's been chipped up, those I would leave. And the reason why I would leave those is because those are a non-uniform size. They're all different bits and pieces. And that non-uniformity is what's going to make it break down really quickly. And all that goodness, all that nitrogen, all that organic matter is going to break down into the compost and into your soil. So that's why for the no-till method, we always recommend using arborist wood chips, because that's going to get you the non-uniformity, the alternating sizes of wood chips. And that's really what you're looking for. If you decide to do the no-till method and you put the compost down, and then you decide maybe you can't get your hands on arborist wood chips and you have to go get those nuggets that are in bags at stores, or you decide you want them to look pretty and you get the dyed mulch, like the black mulch or the red mulch or something like that. If you have those that are all uniform size, I would pull that mulch back, then put more compost, and then put that mulch back on top. I would not layer that in between your levels of compost or layers of compost. Because of the uniform size and because of how they treat that type of mulch, it's meant not to break down. And so it's not going to break down very quickly, and it's just going to be kind of sitting in your compost, and it's not going to do what you want it to do. So I hope that makes sense. If you're using arborist wood chips or wood chips that you've chipped up with a wood chipper, you layer that. You layer that on top of each other, because that's going to mix itself in and it's going to decompose and it's going to add to your soil and give your soil more life. If you're using the bagged mulch, or maybe mulch that you bought in bulk from a landscape supply store that's all of a uniform size, they call it nuggets, those I would not layer. Those I would pull back, I would add more compost, and then I would put on. Obviously, using the wood chips would be better, would be more beneficial, because then you would get that organic matter in your soil. But we all have our limitations, obviously. Sometimes you can't get your hands on things that you want. And so I don't want you to feel bad for using the nuggets. I just would not layer that in the way that I layer in my my compost and my arborist wood chips. So anyway, I hope that answers your question. Any other gardening questions, leave in the comment section down below. And it makes it, if you write question in it, then it makes it really easy for the algorithm to catch your questions, and so that I can read them. I hope you all enjoyed this. Go say hi to Claudia on her channel. She has a beautiful garden and a wonderful garden channel. I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.